Thank you, everyone. Welcome back to BBB Sharing. I'm Evie, Director of Ignite, sparked by BBB. I have my CEO and President, Barry Morin, here with me today.
Hello, Evie.
Hello.
Here we are again.
They've
Two more
gotten a
guests.
little used to having Josh in here with me today.
Yeah, he's going to be here a lot today, I think. Yeah.
He has. But today I also have two very special guests from VCU Health. They work with the sickle cell program at VCU Health. I have Miss Raven and Miss Shirley. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I am raven.hines. I am the transition coordinator with the VCU Sickle Cell team. So I have the pleasure of meeting our sickle cell patients when they enter into high school. I get to know them. We build a good relationship, and then I help them as they go through the sometimes difficult process to transition to adulthood, into an adult sickle cell clinic and finding a new provider and a new environment and all that. So I walk with them through that process from ninth grade up until they're 26.
Wow.
I'm Shirley Johnson. I am the Senior Program Manager for the Adult Sickle Cell Program. I actually started out being the transition coordinator. I'm a social worker by training and have now oversee the whole adult program for the patients from 18 years of age and up. And we just want to thank you for having us here today.
Thank you for coming.
Definitely, thank you.
This is a great opportunity for us to kind of let you know some of the struggles that our patients deal with and see how we can get the businesses in the community to help us maybe navigate them into the world of employment.
Yeah, I think getting the businesses involved is a really big deal because whether we want to admit it or not, they're kind of the gateway through being involved with the community more. And I know you guys have a big event coming up in September. You have your job fair, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
We are so excited. Last year we were able to have our inaugural transition career fair, where we wanted our sickle cell patients to feel like they're more than just a sickle cell patient. They have talents. We have so many artistic sickle cell patients. It's like their outlet, and they're so good. And they just have so many skills and so many things they want to do. But I think sometimes they get in their own minds and they think, I have this disease, so I can't do more. And so Shirley and I were having a conversation one day, and we're just brainstorming, how can we help these patients find employment and reach all the goals? And so we decided, let's just bring everything to them. Let's bring the businesses, let's bring, the resources and put it all in one room. And so we did it in our conference room in the building where they have clinic at. And it was a familiar space. We were able to help them with transportation if they needed it. And Barry was so gracious to bless us with his presence and with his resources and his network. He came, and we brought all the businesses to the building, and we had about 19 vendors, I think.
Wow.
We gave them access to, if they don't have a driver's license, they could fill out the applications. If they don't have their birth certificate, they registered to vote. They applied for social security cards. We taught our young men how to tie ties. We gave our young ladies resources for, if they were going to an interview, they would have something appropriate to wear. And so they were able to pick up to 7 outfits by shopping. Dress for Success was gracious enough to partner with us. We had jars, we had Reynolds Community College was a big partnership. We had different grocery stores and businesses. So it was amazing. We didn't know what to expect, but it turned out to be wonderful. And so we are so happy to be able to do that again this year, September 17th, from 12 to 14.
Right.
I think it's really important to acknowledge that patients with sickle cell disease many years ago were told that they were not going to live past like the age of 18. And unfortunately, because sometimes even in their pediatric care, they suffer things like stroke and other things that, impede them from going to school, have some cognitive issues, they may not believe that they have the ability to go out and work in the community or go to college or be successful in a vocational training program. And so we are trying to change that and let them know that many businesses out there are willing to hire people with, as long as they have an understanding of what their limitations may be, putting them into the workforce or getting them into a community program or some type of program to make them feel like, they're contributing to society. And each one of those businesses, and hopefully businesses that will join us this year, will also take on that initiative, because our patients really do have so much to offer, just like every young person does. I always have said in my talks and with people in the transition program that you have to look at young people in general and the challenges that they face when they leave their parents' nest. On top of that, you have a chronic disease, a disease that you could die from if you don't take care of yourself. So we want to make sure that we empower them to think, like Raven said, there's so much more than that disease, because they are. So many of them are talented, they're brilliant, they can communicate and do so much more and have the willingness to put themselves out there. And so this was really a great way for us to bring that to them. And so I'm really hoping that the businesses that are listening to this today will consider coming to our transition career fair. Will be able to maybe sponsor us if they cannot attend in some way. We will take, donations. We will, whatever they think would be appropriate. A lot of our young people don't have driver's licenses. We love to have the opportunity to get them driver's education so that they can possibly get to their employment, because transportation is usually a huge factor for them. So we're open to any suggestions that the businesses in the community may have.
So last year, it was a great inaugural event. I can't believe it was a year ago. Seems like it was a couple days ago I was there, but, Raven, you mentioned, the people that have tables and setup. It's a very good setup. Is that the same location?
Yes,
Yeah.
it'll be at the same location.
So believe it or not, I'm going in my mind, and I know Mr. Fixer was there, and Credit Union, Virginia Credit Union.
Yes.
Two companies that serve on our board of directors. So we had brought it up at a board meeting, and that's how they got there. But there was 5 accredited businesses there, which is, and then me, which we can't be accredited because we are them. But it was a fun event, Evie, and you're going to be there with me this year. You don't know that yet. So,
You're
I always find out things last
yeah, you might be out of town though. It might be one of your travel days. I
I
don't
don't
know.
think so. I'll be.
All right. So if we can get, and we sent out last week in our system insights, the flyer, the letter, and it says contact Raven. And I don't know if anybody's contacted you yet, or Shirley. I think both your names are in that letter. But we did get some responses back internally, forwarding back to you guys, obviously, because we're not handling that part. But you're right on sponsorships. To buy, like some of the shoe stores. Imagine, this is a big one. I'm not going to call them out, but imagine if they would give a credit, a credit to each one of these candidates if they were to get a job or get an interview. Give them a pair of shoes, brand new. They don't have to. And I know Dress for Success is great, but imagine getting one new pair of shoes would be nice. But the suits are one thing, but the nice pair of shoes fitted for you would be a big deal. But let's talk about these candidates, right? So there's all different kind of events out there. There are needs for soldiers that come home, they need jobs, right? We talk about that. That's one silo. Then there's the recovery world, people coming out of recovery, that's a job force. Then there's people with felonies coming out of the jails. And then it goes on and on and on. There's all these different silos, which are important for all of us to know. And I think the public does not understand. Evie is so new to this job role, but she's probably the most in tune person now I've ever worked with, because she's taking it personally, taking these battles, getting really aggravated, really frustrated by people have the mouth going. See, we're on the video like that. Right? We have the mouth going, but nothing's happening. They're going to nice fancy dinners and all, and nobody's fixing anything. It's a crock, and it is time for Richmond, Central Virginia, to step up. And everybody's complaining to us, believe it or not. Oh, I can't hire people. The governor hears, he does a letter, he does a statement. Oh, people are looking for employees. They're out there. They're out there. All the groups I just talked about, plus probably 100 more, are out there. And so your clients have missed school because they've been in the hospital.
Yes.
The pain is, and I think Wally Smith explains it great, but I think you ladies could help explain it also. The pain these people are in, they're not drug addicts are dealing with pain management, but we perceive them, and I've learned this from Shirley talking to her for years, and Wally Smith, I mean, you learn stuff you never knew before, that the pain is massive. So talk about the clients. Are they employable? Can they get to work? What are going to be the challenges to interview these people and then get them to get a job and be productive for the rest of their life?
I think that many of our patients are very employable. Obviously some have suffered very serious medical disabilities, which that's nothing that can be controlled. That's how the disease operates. But I would say probably 90 to 95% of these young people are very employable in some type of capacity. I think that what we don't realize is that many of them come from unstable, impoverished environments, which means that they don't know what is out there for them. All they know is what they have, seen. And like I said earlier, many of them were told, well, you're going to die anyway. So why does it matter if you go to school?
Right.
Why does it matter if you do something for yourself? Now, over the last 2 decades, I think that conversation has changed, where you're getting the medical professionals to understand the importance of transition, which is critical. I mean, our highest death rate for patients with sickle cell disease is between the ages of 18 and 30. Like I said earlier, you could be a young person going off to college without a chronic disease, and you still make very bad decisions, right? But if you're a young person who doesn't take care of yourself with a chronic disease, you could end up with a stroke or worse. So I think by giving them the opportunity to recognize that they can contribute in a way that is very beneficial to them, to society, and that society sees them as something more than a patient that's really ill, I think is really a step in the right direction for the community as a whole. Like you were mentioning, there's so many groups of people that no one wants to give a chance to. They make bad decisions, bad things happen. Nobody wants to give them an opportunity. You're punished forever for doing something wrong. In this case, many of our patients are seen as people, like you said, who are drug seekers. There's a big stigma and racial bias associated with them because many of them in the United States are African American, not all, but many are. And so there's that whole connotation. Are you treating me differently because of, the color of my skin or the way that I look? Then on top of that, I'm really sick. I'm taking all these pain medications, and you must think that there's that. Everybody thinks that they're these drug seekers. But I think by them showing that the community comes to them and they are listening to them. Everyone that walked out of that room last year was impacted by what they saw with these patients. They saw things that they, like you said, they didn't know. They were able to communicate with them. I believe a couple of their caregivers came. I think one of them actually got a job interview. And so I think, just by seeing people for who they are, not what you see in the news, not what you hear on the headlines, people are given a bad shake. That's probably very few of our patients. And so I do believe that they have the opportunity with support. They have to be understood. I think it's really critical to know that when they are in crisis, they are going to need to go to the hospital. They may not be able to come to work. You might have to give them accommodations. Maybe they can't stand all day, but they could still do a factory job position if you accommodate them with a proper seat, or you let them take more breaks, or continue to let them hydrate. Those are all things that if you just understand what they need, they're just as employable as you and I are. We all have our challenges, right? Whatever our physical or our mental problems are, we have to still come to work and do what we need to do every day. They're no different than we are. So I think just knowing and understanding, I think that's what we saw last year. There was a huge understanding of the businesses that were there, and they walked out of there very educated about the individuals that they met. So just really putting that out there.
I think building the energy and Raven, when you get everybody together in their tables and you get them all set, we all start to feel. I've done a lot of job fairs in my lifetime, and it feels great, whether they're coming out of college or people that have hit bad times or struggling. They don't know what to do. But if we get a way that every employer at those tables would just have a chair and sit each guest that comes by their table and give them a 30-second mock interview. Basically, Raven, I'm Barry. I'm at Mr. Fix-It. Tell me about yourself. In 30 seconds, you have to do that. And your clients going around, it makes them feel great because now somebody's listening to them. Because as an employer, I only need to hear one good thing that makes me want to have that interview or the second follow-up. And, you know, our receptionist here is visually impaired blind, and she's our best employee. I tell it right in front of everybody, better than me. She smiles every single day. She's early, but you know her biggest problem? Transportation.
Yeah.
So each administration, I don't care who they are, they want to deal with mental health, they want to deal with health crisis, they want to deal with food insecurity. Oh, that's all the food banks, just so you know, they're building 12 to $20 million facilities to warehouse food. They have cars lined up to give out food. What is wrong with us? Why are these people hungry to begin with? Well, let's find a way to solve it without being food insecurity. You know, Dr. Han was here from she's a cancer survival doctor at Massey, and she sat right here and talked about food insecurity. And it's a big thing, but yet we all are contributing, you know, heart balls. We go to all these big events, tuxedos. We're spending 300,000 to 400,000 to raise $3 million. I mean, the expenses don't make sense. And I gotta be careful what I was gonna say.
There are two things.
Yeah,
that I
go
wanna
for it.
mention.
Yes, go.
One
We're at
is
60 minutes.
coming
Sorry.
from a background where I grew up in a business owner household, right? There is a difference between someone that is able to work and someone that wants to work.
Correct.
There's a big difference, and I've seen it. I've grown up in it. Someone that is able to work takes advantage of the fact that they are physically able to be able to get up and be at work for hours on end. And somebody who wants to work, but is not given the opportunity to because they are not as physically able or as mentally able to do so.
Correct.
Mm.
I
Big
totally
difference.
agree.
So any of the businesses out there that are listening to this and you're like, well, I don't know if I can do that accommodation. Believe me when I tell you, the person that wants to work for you is going to be there when they can every single day and put 100% into the job.
You're sorry.
And that's gonna make a world of a difference.
That's good.
And the second thing that I want to mention is, you mentioned the ball and you mentioned the stigmatism against certain races. And I want to say this, if you care so much, which we sit here and we rant, and I'm going on my little rant.
Go for it.
Oh,
You
you
got
go.
But you
for it.
sit here and you rant about how much you care about certain races, but yet you can't even be bothered
DEI.
to learn about the fact that we have people who have sickle cell disease, which by the way, does not just affect Black people or African Americans. No, it does not. It affects people from different ethnicities.
Tell
Like
us
my
more.
background, who's Greek, and I can carry certain traits that if I marry a Black man and I have a baby,
We could.
yep,
I'm Italian and the same thing. I
Yep.
did not know that I could potentially have a sickle cell trait as an Italian
I learned it
descendant.
from Dr. Willie Smith.
Correct. So, I think there's a lot, people want to pass judgment because people look different than them.
Yeah.
We're not going to get on our soapbox about some things like that.
Y'all talking good.
Yeah, but I think, well, we've had these conversations for years, Barry and I, but I think that, as a community, we have a responsibility to take care of everybody.
Yeah.
And not everyone was raised with the privilege and the opportunities, but yet if you give that to them, give them a minute to try to prove that they are worthy of that. You might have the four of us that are sitting around this room, right? We all come to work every day. We all put our best foot forward. But it doesn't mean that we're the best employees. It doesn't mean that you're getting the best out of us. That somehow you took a chance and you hired us and we either did or did not meet your expectations. Why do we treat somebody else that's different just because they have a disability, just because they have a chronic disease? And you and I are on the same soapbox. Raven's here too. We're on the same soapbox. But I feel like, we want to change society, but we don't want to give people an opportunity to be better.
Yeah.
And if you want to continue to hold people, to a place where you don't want them to, let's say, live off the system, well, give them an opportunity to be
Exactly.
employable. There's a lot of, I'm not really that equipped like Doris is, but there's also a lot of incentive to businesses to hire people with disabilities. And so I think you really need to look at that
Mhm.
and realize that there's so much more that can be out there for people. I see help wanted signs everywhere.
Yeah.
So bring your business to our transition fair or contact Raven and I. And if you can't come to the fair, say, I'm willing to interview so many of your patients, or I can give you a donation to help, buy them the pair of shoes or get them a dress shirt or get them a nice new dress to wear to their interview. We'll take whatever you can give us. What we did learn last year, and I think we're going to try to expand on it more this year, is even if the job opportunity is not out there, what about a trade school? A lot of our young people, especially the men,
They're
they're
looking for
interested in
trades.
HVAC. They're interested in working on
That's the
cars
best investment.
because they maybe
Learning
didn't
trades.
do really well in school, so that might not be their best asset, but they might be able to put a wrench in their hand and be the best, employee that you ever have there at your automotive center. They love working on the HVAC. Several of our patients have always been interested in the plumbing and HVAC. I always found that very interesting. But how about an HVAC company? We'll put you through a training program. We'll hire you, we'll give you, but we understand if it's like a weather out today, you might have to work inside and not outside. Just get to know who you're working with. They're going to do great things for you.
Oh, yeah.
And we will be so proud to put your business up there on our website. We will let everyone know that you are supporting this really important program. Virginia Commonwealth University, last year we had the governor's wife attend for this event. We had the dean of the School of Medicine come. We had our chair of our internal medicine department come. They were very proud to see these young people and all the businesses there. That is a win-win for everybody in the community. And that you're supporting patients who really do want to contribute, do want to work, like you said, do want to put their best foot forward. But that doesn't have to be a 9-to-5 job. Give them a trade, help them get to their jobs if they need to. Like you said, transportation is it's even worse than food insecurities. And so, how do we get them to these jobs? We need to be adjustable and accommodating to people.
Getting to the job will take care of their food insecurity
Yeah,
because they make a
correct.
paycheck and
That's
then they
right.
gotta learn, through a bank or a credit union, how to save and budget. And Raven, I know you got something to say and we're gonna let you, I think we'd be cutting you off too much. Are you sure?
No, you're good.
All right, but I want to make sure I tell you, so Travis at Opus Network, is how I found found a receptionist. I want you to talk to him. He should be there. I think that these clients growing up in the medical field, who better to be in a call center for one of the major insurance carriers right here, like, I think we have Anthem or somebody's here in town. Imagine in a call center, they're gonna have empathy and understanding what clients are, and how great is that gonna be for a company?
Right.
And they can work at an air conditioning call center, and so we're at 22 minutes, the longest ever. Gotta go to Raven though. Okay, but you go first.
One more thing.
You on the show.
$144 million to VCU was donated for liver failure. But we can't raise $1 million for sickle cell, which, by the way, there is a cure for sickle cell, but we need to be able to bring those companies here to be able to promote it to the community. So do a little self-reflection when you go home today and think to yourself, why can we donate $144 million for liver failure when we can just stop drinking? If that's what it is, but we have a cure for sickle
That
cell.
might be 70 million. They still need the other 70
Yeah. $1 million is, it like you said, a
It's
drop
been
in the
20
bucket
years.
for one
20 years.
company. Yeah, it's a
for
joke.
one company, but,
It's a joke.
and then the other thing is, we need to stop looking at all these little nonprofits that are popping up left and right when we have big nonprofits that are making real differences in our communities.
Yeah.
And this sickle cell is a big nonprofit that needs to continue to grow in this community.
Just so you guys know, when and I had this conversation when I was at your office, but again, these nonprofits popping up, they're taking 6 figures out of the economy. So they're taking 100 to 300,000 because somebody died in their family and they want a t-shirt and they want to have big events. So what are your friends going to do? They're going to support you. Instead of me, if I lose somebody, going to a bigger cause that they already have the infrastructure, would be smarter and better serving everybody involved and looking at everybody as going back to this whole conversation. I am not the guy that's going to keep allowing people to say this group, if we all look at each other as human beings. The minute we get over that, but then there's not an economy anymore for that segregation or separation, if you will. So I just see people as human beings. They need jobs. They've dealt with illnesses. They've dealt with incarceration, whatever it is. Just help them. And there's plenty of cars out there. You know, let's not do electric cars for like $40,000 more than a gas car, and let's buy cheaper, and then I can use an extra 40 and buy somebody else that needs a car, and still spend the same 80 grand. Imagine that. So, did you have something else? Are you sure?
No,
I feel so bad.
no, you're good. I just want to piggyback on what has been said, and we're just asking all the businesses out there to give our patients a chance to prove that they can and that they're willing, that they're able, that they're capable, that they are motivated. Just like you or me, right? Like Shirley said, somebody took a chance on us.
Yep.
And sometimes we didn't even deserve the chance. So let's just give them the chance to just be them best selves and to just provide for their families, take care of themselves, to do more, get their own housing. And transportation is a big barrier. And so we are looking for businesses who want to partner with us to fix the problem. We can talk about it all day, but how are we going to fix it? How are we going to get them to the jobs? And so we are looking for businesses who want to provide us with the funds to be able to pay for some young people to take behind the wheel, or provide gas cards for those who do have a car, but they're just trying to make ends meet. So however you are able to donate or help or support us, sponsor us, please contact me or Shirley, and we would love to make some great change for our sickle cell patients.
Raven brought it all the way back home. She wanted to get back focused on the job fair. How did we get in our discussion here?
Right, we went
Gee,
off on
you
a
Shirley, we did, but
I
are we
love the
professionals
tangent.
at that or what? We do it every time.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing us back home.
Yes,
But
thank you.
Evie's gonna wrap it up because this is the longest podcast we've ever done, 26 minutes.
That's true, it is the longest, but I hope everybody listened to the end.
It's an important topic, so I think it is.
So thank you everyone so much for listening and for listening in on with us and having to come here and listen to what Shirley and Raven have to say, and of course listening to mine and Barry go on a tangent. But if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe and share the video. And if you're listening on Spotify, make sure to follow us and comment on the audio. We want to know your feedback and what you think about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.